The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Fore!
Welcome, friends, to Golf is a Four-Letter Word. Approaching the tee box now, your host, Craig Dufton.
Hey, welcome everybody, and hello to the lovely J9 back with me once again for
Morning,
one more
all.
week. Good morning to you, my dear.
Morning.
All right.
You ready?
I am. Happy Sunday morning to you all. Good to see you all again. And we are excited to bring you a local golf course that we have played a couple times together. And, although it's not in our top, 5 golf courses, it is a fun golf course to play, and it is called Crystal Lake. So, cue up the... Yes. Although it's not that Crystal Lake, it is named Crystal Lake,
bad.
which is
My fault.
famously from the movie Friday the 13th, and starring who, of course?
Jason.
Yeah, well, and Kevin Bacon,
The one and only.
Oh,
Kevin
sorry.
Bacon. How can
Sorry,
you-
Kevin.
Yep. So,
If you're watching.
luckily for all of you, Jason is not at this golf course. Hopefully, and doesn't really appear to be a golfer to me. But Crystal Lake is located in Haverhill, Mass. It used to be called Crystal Springs when I was a kid, and apparently the springs have blossomed into a lake. So there you go. Apparently, after
I do
a few
remember
years, Crystal Springs becomes Crystal Lakes. Everybody enjoys it. But the reason why we wanted to talk to you about this golf course this week is, well, we like to mix it up. We like to go to golf courses that may be a little bit more difficult to get a tee time in, or go to a golf course that is a very easy golf course to play and come and have fun and enjoy yourself. And Crystal Lake is one of those golf courses. It's pretty easy to get a tee time online. You can really, they're very flexible over there. They've always been flexible since I was a kid. I've played there several times when I wasn't playing Merrimack Valley. I'd go up there with my dad and play Crystal Springs. They used to have this thing. They didn't even have tee times back then. They just had this little wired ball thing that you put your ball in and it would go down like this, and whoever's ball was next was on the tee. So when you got there, you just dropped your ball in there with your name on it, and it rolled down in it. And when the guy pulled your ball, then you were up on the tee. I don't know why we went away from a system like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it.
Is this the place that Nate loves and Tracy?
Yeah,
That they know them,
Nate
they're
and
friends
Tracy
with them?
were actually with us playing in that foursome that we were there for that day, and that was the day that
They love it there.
I wasn't feeling good, and I played.
Oh, yeah.
I caddied for you on the back nine, and this is the day that you got your birdie.
Yep. That was a great day.
Yeah.
He was my caddy.
Yep. So it does have a cool layout. It's been around for quite a time, and now in the last few years, it's been getting a facelift because they've added some homes onto the course. They're single family. I think they're like an association, like condo townhomes or single family homes with an association, and they're almost completely done. The course is a little beat up because of it. They're changing some par 4s into par 3s, from par 4s into par 5s. And I think once it's all done and it's reestablished, and then maybe a little bit of love is put back into the golf course after building all these beautiful homes, I think it's going to turn out to be a good spot for people to go to. They have memberships there. Guys have been members there for years. It's really like a neighborhood golf course, a Merrimack Valley golf course that's on the radar for a lot of people that they play over and over and over again.
Well, we've played twice. So
we played it a couple times. And it does have 18 holes. It's a par 72. They have 3 sets of tees, unlike last week where we were at Canterbury Woods where they had 5 sets of tees. So you can go up to 6,400 yards on this golf course if you're playing from the tips. 18 holes with a cart was $53, so it's right in that price range. Not overly pricey, but not
Enough.
Enough. It makes you a good enjoyment time. They don't really have a clubhouse per se. They have a pro shop that's inside of a I don't know if it's going to be a temporary building that they have set up, and they've got like the bar set up in there. You can sit on the deck afterwards. But we didn't get the opportunity to go to eat there. We went to our favorite place that we like to eat afterwards was Pika's on the Methuen Haverhill border. We can talk about Pika's in a little bit too. We love those guys. But you can have a great time. You may have a longer round here. You may get upwards to 5 hours, which if you're okay with that. We unfortunately ran into a guy on the back nine that wanted to hit like a small bucket off of every tee box, and it got to the point where it was so frustrating that the guys behind us actually called into the pro shop at Crystal Lake and said, "Hey, there's a guy like hitting like 5 balls off of every tee, and we want to finish before the sun goes down." It wasn't us, unfortunately, but we probably got blamed for it because we were right behind them, and they thought, these guys are assholes. They're pushing us along. But the Rangers did come by. They did react to it, and I think that's very important when you're looking for a golf course that cares about your pace of play and cares about your rate of play. That says a lot for a place like Crystal Lake. Is that you call and they react. So I think that's, for all the shortcomings they may have, they're not the most beautiful golf course in the world. And, they're in the middle of a transition with a bunch of construction, but, they sent out a couple of Rangers, and the Rangers even asked us, is it slow for you guys? And we're like, yeah, it's, we're waiting on every hole. The guy was dropping balls a couple times.
Didn't you do 4 over the water?
Yeah.
The water?
And there's really no need for that. I mean, honestly, this is the reason why we have rules. This is why we have drop zones. When you approach a water hazard, there's always going to be a drop zone. So if you drop a ball into the water, why for God's sakes, would you want to drop another ball into the water? Never mind 4 balls into the water. This guy put 4 balls into the water, and that's where I nicknamed him Small Bucket, because I was like, all right, we're not going to hit a small bucket. This isn't a driving range. All right, you don't play more than 1 ball. All right, I can see if you're on the tee and it's your first hit, it's a breakfast ball, and you topped it or something like that. Yeah, go ahead, tee another one up. Right? Why do you want to start your round off that way? But I mean, when you purposefully.
Purposefully.
That
there
too.
You go.
God, Ben,
that's what you meant.
Purpose.
It's the only reason I'm
Did
here.
I mention that Ben was here today? I apologize.
Ben's awesome.
I don't know what I would do without the voice of God. So,
Heavenly Ben.
yeah, sometimes I think I hear Ben in my head, and Ben's nowhere near me, and I'm like,
I didn't know
are
this.
you really doing that? So,
Do you want me to just come caddy for you and just whisper?
yeah, you could.
There you go.
You've got the melodious voice that, I don't have that. I have more like a kind of voice.
Open your hips, Craig.
Yes.
Don't
It's all in the hips. So back to Jason. We should have named him Jason instead of Small Bucket, because he was horrifying us just as much as Jason.
It wasn't relaxing watching Small Bucket Jason.
No, and it's frustrating for people when you're sitting there and you want to play and you're watching somebody hit a small bucket in front of you. So
because I want to hit a small bucket, but I don't.
Right. And listen, when you're a newer golfer and you want to drop one, you want to hit an extra shot, I get it. If there's nobody around you, if there's nobody waiting, people do that all the time. There are people that go out there and play by themselves that will play 2. They'll play 2 balls. You know what I mean? So that they don't have to, they're working on their game or whatever. I mean, this golf course, Crystal is a good golf course for you to work on your game. There's a couple of holes that are tough. That par 4 that goes down to the left. I think it's the 5th hole or 6th hole. They've renumbered them all, so I don't know off the top of my head. I'll look it up while we're talking. But what did you think, Jen? I mean, you had a great shot on the 9th hole. Let's talk about that.
My birdie?
Yeah.
You remember every detail of it, so I'd rather you.
I do. Well, you hit it.
He remembers everything.
Oh, I try. But it was just a simple wood shot. She hit a wood right to the middle of the green, about 7-8 feet away, and then she hit the putt. And unfortunately, the freaking, I don't know why they do this. COVID, actually, I should say, I don't know why. I'll just blame it on COVID, because it is because of COVID. They put these little scoop things inside of the hole. It's like a little wire thing that juts out on, like, here's the flag, right? And then there's a little wire contraption that goes up with a little finger thing that pulls up, and it pulls the like a little cup. And so the ball falls down into the cup, and you pull it up so that it rolls out, and you have to touch this thing, because that doesn't have any COVID on it, right? That part doesn't have any COVID on it, but the ball part down below, just falls off, like whatever. So anyways, we were hitting those stupid things all day long. Like when you're hitting your putt, it would hit it and bounce out. And I'm like, okay, what's up with that? So now
How do you reconcile that, though?
you push it to the other side. So you have to touch it twice. You have to move it out of your way when you're putting, and then you got to move it out of your way again because somebody may be putting from the other side. Yeah. And it literally was like a piece of metal that jutted out all the way around. Just a big wire that was out an inch and a half.
We haven't seen a lot of those.
No, that was the only place I've seen them at, and I know that they had them at a couple of other golf courses, and the members were out of their minds because that's what's happening to people. It's bouncing out. It's bad enough that you're hitting the flag. You know what I mean? And which is up to you entirely if you want to keep the flag in or not still. But a lot of golf courses won't even let you touch the flag, especially in Massachusetts. So it was frustrating from that standpoint, and I hope that eventually they just get rid of those whenever Massachusetts decides to go to phase 2. Whenever they get out of whatever phase they're in right now,
We're in phase 5 of phase 1.
Yeah. Okay. So one V. Not to bring up V from last week, but let's talk about V.
Yeah, that got us in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
I think it did.
No, I don't think we're getting any sponsorships from National Organization of Women or anything like that anytime soon.
Well, never mind.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. Ben. Yep, let it go. Yeah, let it go, Ben.
I let it go.
Okay, good. Let it go. It's all good. So, anyways, Crystal Lake, scary place. Oh, by the way, speaking of Crystal Lake, there actually is a Crystal Lake, right? The place that they filmed this. I was looking it up, because I do this stupid shit that I do. I don't know why I do it, because I just need more useless stuff in my head, right? But it's in New Jersey, Crystal Lake.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And it's got like an old Native American name, like Okeechobee or something like that. And let me see where it is. I found it here somewhere.
Okeechobee?
Yeah. Pretty cool. I didn't think it would be. Here it is. Camp Nobi Bosco. It's in Hardwick, New Jersey, and it's still standing and still operates as a summer camp. Who is sending their kid to that summer camp?
I think if you're a child and your parents are sending you there, I think you know how much love is actually in the house.
I mean, not honestly, much. I know that a lot of generations haven't seen Friday the 13th because, back then that was revolutionary for us when we were kids. But, I mean, it's a pretty scary goddamn movie. You know what I mean? And you're you're at a camp. And Kevin Bacon ain't coming to get you. He ain't coming to save you. Wasn't he the main guy that came and then he got wailed on by Jason? He was supposed to come and save the day, or did he actually save the day?
No, he got butchered.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I thought he was trying to have some special time with a lady.
Now that we've been to,
if I remember correctly.
Now that we've been to Crystal Lake, we're gonna have to watch Friday the 13th. We'll report back to that in a couple of weeks.
All the way through Freddy versus Jason.
I don't know if I want to go all the way through, but I mean, I could probably do. Yeah, Jason Voorhees. There was this really cool game on Steam. I don't know if anyone plays video games, but they actually had a Friday the 13th game that I was playing for a while there until they stopped supporting it. And you could be a camper, or you could be Jason, right? Or you could.
He would play for hours.
Yeah, you can, or you could just random, you didn't know, if you just put in random. You wanted to try to be Jason, you could have a better chance of trying to be Jason, or if you wanted to be a camper, you could try to be a camper. And the campers would try to go around and gather all this stuff that they needed in order to take Jason's mask off to kill him, right? Get his mother's shirt and pretend like they're his mother. And then you could be Jason and just go around and just absolutely just tool on everybody, which was a lot of fun too. But the campers could hit you with bats and stuff like that and stun you and run away. But you could jump from place to place, and you just scare the crap out of people, and it was awesome.
Craig's a nerd.
I'm a nerd. Listen, Ben's a nerd too. Ben's got
that is without a doubt true.
Ben's got his own podcast about soccer, video game, FIFA soccer. You got to go check that out. He's pretty awesome at it. I know a lot of kids in high school. When I went to school with our kids, they played FIFA all the time. So.
Our kids play that game that's a car, that soccer.
The soccer.
What is it?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Rocket League.
Yeah, our boys are good at Rocket League.
Rocket League, yeah. Pretty cool stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Back to Crystal Lake. There's just so much to talk about with Crystal Lake, but it's got nothing to do with the golf course. We just keep talking about Friday the 13th. No, I really enjoyed Crystal Lake. Very simple layout. They don't try to complicate things. They don't try to torture you. They had a couple of good golf holes. The par threes are very fair. It's been tough this summer. We talk about it every week about golf courses being tortured with lack of water. And Crystal Lake was one of those lakes that doesn't have a heck of a lot of water in it. I don't know if it's a reservoir for Haverhill. I almost said Salem and Haverhill in the same word. I just made up my own word, Halem.
They were really good to
Halem.
us.
I'm from Halem, New Hampshire. So.
We had to leave early, I think, on this one, right?
No.
Yeah, I was. Money back.
I wasn't feeling good. Remember, on the back nine, I stopped playing because I had played 18 holes the day before, and I'd gotten so much sun, and plus I'd literally ended up finding out I had strep.
You were
like
dehydrated
2 days into it, and I was dehydrated, and so I played 9 holes, and then on the back 9, I caddied for Janine.
It was really fun.
And we had a blast. I was helping her with Fore caddy, and I was showing her all the different places that she should be hitting it, and she was doing it. And she played great. You had like 3 or 4 pars on the back.
Yeah,
you had a birdie on the front and like 2 or 3 pars on the back. It was crazy. She was just, I think when she's ready for the tour, she's already got her caddy. It's all set.
There you go.
Ready to go. Is there like a ladies senior league?
You would know.
I mean, you're only 29, so you've got time to practice.
Yes, I'll be so good by the time I'm 50.
Was that good? Yeah, see.
Well done.
Even us geeks can we can hit a home run every now and then. So,
keep it up.
Jerk one out of the park. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying.
It's just one of those podcasts where you want to talk about Friday the 13th more, even though you should be talking about Crystal Lake. The golf course.
Well, they're very friendly. Tracy and Nico, they're all the time. They're always welcomed back. And
friends of ours are also they're owners of Pika's Pub and Grill in Methuen. I'm going to give a shout out to them because I love them so much. They were one of my old sponsors on my old podcast, Success in the 603. And Shane and his dad Wayne actually has a place at Crystal Lake. Lives right on the golf course. And I'm hoping that we can hook up with him sometime and play it. And as I said, though, Crystal Lake is in transition. They're changing some holes. They are making some par 4s, par 3s in order to accommodate the utilities and everything. Yeah, and they're doing a good job. They're keeping it the way they need to keep it. But I think they need to bring it. Now that they have the housing that they have there, I think they need to bring everything else to the next level. The clubhouse, the parking lot, put some money into that stuff and get it so that you could get even more rounds. I mean, I don't know how you can manage to get more rounds at Crystal Lake, but you certainly can. And, I think that the par 5s are pretty special par 5s. A couple of good ones on the front where they have the one that's right up against the lake that bends up to the right, and you get like two blind shots, and it's pretty cool. That's the one where you put it in the woods, and you were like, "Damn, you had a great shot."
Far right?
Yep.
We should have taken a picture of that one.
Yeah, well, it's a good hole. It's a good golf course. Very accommodating, very easy to get into. Everybody there with that we had conversations with were great. Remember Anne Marie that found your golf club for you because Janine just does not want to.
No.
Doesn't want to keep. That. She doesn't want to keep hold of her power wedge. She wants somebody else to enjoy the power wedge. So
I did well this past game. I have a system. I don't know how many woods I have, how many irons.
Yes, let's go ahead. Say it. I thought it was kind of cute how you did that. Go ahead.
Well, it's what Nick told me. The biggest one's down.
Yeah.
So I get 4 with covers on.
Keep going.
Then I have 4 irons.
Yeah.
Then I have 2 wedges and my putter in my practice.
In your practice? What, your orange there? The orange whip?
Orange whip. Yeah.
Orange whip. 3 orange whips.
Yeah. Orange whip.
See,
so I know how many clubs.
Not only did we have Friday the 13th references, but we got a Blues Brothers reference too as well. So, the great John Candy.
Orange whip.
Yeah, I love John Candy, I have to say. Another guy that left us too early. John Belushi, John Candy. How many people in that movie are?
Carrie Fisher.
Yep, that's true. The great Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. Crazy stuff, I just don't know. It happens to the best of us. Happened to freaking Kevin Bacon and
Friday the
Poor Kevin.
13th.
It's terrible. How many movies has Kevin Bacon died in? I bet you it's got to be less than 5.
Let's effort it on
random.
Google.
Really? You think so? I don't know. Think Kevin Bacon's ever played at Crystal Lake?
Maybe. Where's
Maybe.
he from?
I don't know. That's another good question. See, you should have a thing in front of you, too. You have one of these things.
All right, I'll bring it next time.
Yeah, we can all look official up here. We're like, oh, we're really trying hard to get you these answers about Crystal Lake that have nothing to do with golf whatsoever. But we didn't
All right,
get a
next time I'll
chance
bring
to.
mine.
We didn't get a chance to imbibe in the 19th hole because Massachusetts again it's a difficult time for golfing in Massachusetts. You have to really be careful about food and alcohol and COVID and all that stuff. They really are. Governor Baker's really strict on that stuff. About
Is that where I got my drink and I had to?
yeah,
wait?
you had to buy like an Almond Joy, and you have to get it. You can get one drink for every Almond Joy that you buy. And that's all they had there. They had Almond Joys and the other one, Bit of Honeys.
Because I know the audience is desperately waiting to find out the answer to it.
You actually found out the answer to it?
Kevin Bacon has died in 18 movies.
18?
movies?
18
Wow.
movies, starting with Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
He played another Psycho. I'm trying to think of that movie. It's been in a few.
Well, The River Wild.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty psycho-ish in that. Sleepers. He was an
Yeah.
awful
Oh,
psycho.
yeah.
18 movies poor Kevin Bacon's died in. So that means he's done like 400
did
movies.
well in
Because
Footloose, though.
yeah, he didn't die in Footloose, did he? I never really.
We wish.
I never really saw Footloose.
We wish.
It's a stupid
You
movie.
never saw Footloose? Come on.
No, I can't say I really
Really?
did.
Wow.
I saw Tremors though. That had Kevin Bacon in it.
That was awesome.
That was a good one. I think he might have. He didn't die in that one.
No.
Footloose was good.
He was a hero in that one. So I think that if there was an adventure movie at Crystal Lake Golf Course and Kevin Bacon was in it, he wouldn't die in it. That's all I know. If I was
Yeah.
writing the script, he would save the day with like a 7-iron. He'd come in and be like, I'll get you. Like, wham, wham, wham. Like, no, Kevin, that's your favorite club. He's like, that's why I'm using it. And he's like, wham, wham, wham. He's slamming people. So I think that's what we got to do. We're going to call up the guy from Transformers. What's his name?
Michael Bay?
Yeah, Michael Bay. Get him to do Crystal Lake Golf Course.
It'll be a big budget movie.
I'm telling you.
Crystal Lake Golf Course in Haverhill.
Well, that'd be good because they could get everything all cleaned up there. They'd leave him with this like amazing golf course. Well, actually, probably Michael Bay would blow the whole thing up. Knowing Michael Bay,
it would look like the end of Caddyshack.
there'd be like explosions everywhere, and yeah, that wouldn't be too bad though. Do you think? What do you think? I think they'd be down for it. If anybody from Crystal Lake is listening right now, if you're down for Michael Bay coming to make a movie at your golf course, I mean, I think we can get this set up.
Can you just give us a little taste?
Yeah.
A little taste of the action. And we did come up with the idea.
Yeah, I think
We are literally the first people that ever made that connection.
Ever.
I mean, if you just allow us to hit a small bucket off the tees and not harass us with the Rangers, we'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
Every time we go, we can hit 2-3 balls. Because
Yes.
that's what Janine wants to do. After she counts her clubs, after every hole she counts her clubs. Even Jake did it the other day. Remember at Canterbury Woods last week? Jake did it.
So did Nate. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nate.
Yep. It's a terrible time when you forget your club. It's the most horrifying feeling. You feel so useless when you forget
Yeah.
a club. You're like, oh, really? Like the one thing that I had
you
to
don't even wanna
do
tell
when
anybody.
I went onto the green was bring that club back with me, and I didn't do it.
Why are you driving back there? No
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Jake just took off from us one time. He just like, see ya. And we're like, where the hell's Jake? We're sitting there on the 18th hole. We're waiting to go inside. And then all of a sudden, here he comes with his club in his hand, coming up over the hill
He's awesome.
like he's on a steed and he's about to joust. It's pretty funny. But
Shout out to Jake. He'll make
shout
it
out to
one of
Jake.
these days.
Shout out to Crystal Lake, too. I apologize for, being sidetracked on every single time that I do this. But
No, it's a great
you know
course.
what?
We'll
It
go
is.
back many
It is.
times.
We'll play there over and over again, and you're always welcome to come join us at Crystal Lake. I had a great time. I played there a couple weeks before that, too, with Mike. And we had a great time too. I got to get him on the podcast too one of these days. He's just too busy. All these contractors are too busy to play golf with me. So speaking of contractors, whoa, what a great segue that was right there, right? Scott's
Yeah.
Roofing and Siding. Call them today, 888-947-7663. They're going to bring you this week's Scott's Roofing and Siding quote of the week from our buddy and our pal, Mr. Second Place, Greg Norman. All right. Love Greg Norman. When I was a kid, I just wanted to be Greg Norman. I loved shark shirts.
I was
When my
gonna say,
dad
he's the
dad
shark.
gave me a shark shirt for the first time I ever had a shark shirt. I was like, oh my God, it's like golf and sharks at the same time. And I don't know why Greg Norman was called the Shark. Maybe he's from Australia and Great White Barrier Reef kind of thing with sharks, and he just kind of looks like a shark when he's playing, like plays like a shark.
He had a biting problem when he was a kid.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what it was.
A big overbite or something.
Biting other children.
Yeah, like, what's his name?
Did he have a hat too that he wore?
He did.
Yeah, yeah. He wore the wide brimmed hat. He made that. He made that famous. But Scott's Roofing and Siding quote of the week. Remember, they're not in the roofing business. They're in the customer service business. Here it is. Greg Norman.
Give them a call.
Aggressive play is a vital asset of the world's greatest golfers. However, it's even more important to the average golfer. Attack this game in a bold, confident, and determined way, and you'll make a giant leap towards realizing your full potential as a player. Pretty good stuff from GN, don't you think?
Yep.
The Shark. We'd love to have him on the show. So, Greg, if you're in town, if you're anywhere near Crystal Lake, you may be playing with Kevin Bacon. We don't know. You know,
Never
he could be
know.
in the new Michael Bay movie. You never know. I mean, there's always room for Sharknado, Greg Norman. See, we're putting it all together. You know, it's just one of those wonderful podcasts where just ideas are coming from they're just coming from all over the different places. Like, hey, who would have thought?
New name for the show. Idea is a 4-letter word.
Yes, idea is a 4-letter word.
There you go.
So also visit our friends at Pika's after you're around at Crystal Lake. They're right down the street. Play some Keno. Maybe win some money. Not so sure about Keno and winning money, but it's fun playing Keno anyways.
Yep.
You know, you can't win if you don't play that, blah, 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 that phrase. But again, back to Greg Norman. I couldn't think of a better inspiration when I was a kid. You know, the guy just was so close to winning the Masters so many times. I think he came in like 5th in majors, like he's only second to poor Phil Mickelson, who came in like 6 majors in second place.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you know, never mind. Well, Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, they've come in second in like a million of them. But these guys were winning. You know, the famous one with Greg Norman where he was winning the Masters and then he lost to Nick Faldo in like the 17th hole. He put it in the water. And I mean, oh God, it was just so freaking heartbreaking. Like there were just so many heartbreaking moments with Greg Norman. And that's why I wanted to quote him this week, because I love him. I want to shout out to him. I know he's probably making wine somewhere. He's got a great winery down in Australia that he's cranking out wine all over the place. But it was a great time at Crystal Lake. It was a great time watching Greg Norman when I was growing up. Yeah. And I think, you know, when I think about it, I've you know, we used to go, my dad and I used to watch the U.S. Open every year, which is being played. It was played last weekend. And it was just a great time. You know, we always used to have our Father's Day barbecues, and my dad and I would sit in front of the TV while everybody was out barbecuing, and my dad and I were sitting in front of the TV.
Someone walk in the room, he'd go.
Watching the U.S. Open. And my dad was famous for 2 things. He would tell you to shut the door before you could even get through it, right? He would, as you were opening the door, my dad was yelling at you to close it. Even though you weren't actually physically in the house yet, he was like, shut the goddamn door. And I'm like, okay, I got to get through it first. So I learned to just live with that, right? But then the other one was like, he would just have these outbursts when someone would miss a putt. And it would scare the ever-loving shit out of you, right? Because you'd be sitting there, you'd be drinking, or you're having a good time, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh my God, like you missed the putt. And like the dogs would go flying everywhere. It was just unbelievable.
One time, Tina walked in the room, my sister, and said, hi, Mr. Duff. And he went, get out of the way.
Yeah, he's like,
she's like, okay.
Unless you're coming over here to give me
Nice
a
to see you
cocktail
today.
and you're going to sit down and watch golf, then my dad, we were all business 4 times a year. We were all business at the Masters, at the U.S. Open, PGA Championship, and the Open Championship, which is the British Open. You know, we watched him religiously,
We went to the Bell
I do
Championship.
severely miss that about him. So, yes, that was good times. But I played golf Crystal Lake with my father so many times, so I thought there would be an appropriate golf course for me to talk about, even though there were Crystal Springs back then. But, Dad, here's to you up in heaven. Hope you're enjoying 18 holes up there with Janine's dad.
Yep.
And we will see you next week. We're going to be headed up to the north woods of Jackson, New Hampshire, and North Conway, and we're going to be playing 3 different golf courses. We're going to be playing Wentworth, Country Club. We're going to be playing the famous North Conway Country Club, home of the famous member Babe Ruth. And also we're going to be playing White Mountain Country Club. And so over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be bringing you those 3 golf courses. And we hope that you hit it straight and on the fairways and greens. And we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.
See you next week.
Opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.